Todd, you alluded to the fact yesterday you might have some lineup changes. Are there any that you can divulge for us here this morning?
Well, Jared Bowl will go in for Umberger. Shoulder not 100%. And then the other change is Nikitin not feeling great, so he'll be out, and Nick Schultz will go in.
When you put Nick Schultz in, we were talking about the fact you have Dalton Proud here, so you could go one big body guy for another big body guy. But do you like Nick Schultz and the fact that he is a veteran, he's been through this, and you know what he's going to bring to the table?
Experience, can really help you at this time of the year, and it's not that that's the trump card or anything else. He's played well down the stretch. He's done some good things for us. So getting him in the lineup will help solidify our back end.
Todd, as the media gobs go behind you into the dressing room, we can see there, there's a lot of talk on how the Pittsburgh Penguins made a push. Do you feel a little bit, though, that the Jackets maybe let them off the hook a little bit in Game 5?
They did a good job. They had a game plan. Their team came in. I thought they skated really well. They put a lot of pressure on us and forced us into some turnovers, which resulted in more defensive zone time. So we need to come in and kind of the same attitude, same mentality. I think that we've done it for the most part the whole series. We got away from it a little bit last game, but I think that was based on what they were doing. We just need to be faster. And I think, you always hear guys talking about we got to be better, we got to be better. And to me, better is simple. It's just a more intense focus. And when you're more intense and I think your focus is more acute, you do everything else better. You're probably a little bit more physical. Your passes are crisper and more on the tape. And positionally, you're better too because you're thinking clearer and you're into the game.
In the last game, Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby played together a lot. Being put on the same line. Dan Bosman doing that to try to counteract some of the things that you were doing. Don't know if he's going to do that tonight or not, but when he does that, how does that change things for you? And now being the home team tonight and having the last line change, how can you kind of manage that a little bit better perhaps?
Well, last line change is huge because obviously you can wait and see who he's going to put out on the ice. There are some things you don't have any control over, especially on icings. You see the puck get shot down the ice, and you know right away that more than likely if those two guys weren't out on the ice, one of them will be, if not both of them. So it's how we manage the puck, trying to eliminate those unnecessary times where we ice the puck down the ice so he can get a line change, and then it gets away from the matchups that I want. But those two guys playing together, it does pose a bit of a problem, but it's not going to change anything in our approach. You just got to be aware of who you're out on the ice against.
Sergei Bobrovsky took some bodies the other night. The Penguins they made contact for sure, and I know that your guys talked about it after the game. They talked about it yesterday too. With Jared Bowl in the lineup tonight, I'm not saying that's the only reason you're putting him in there by any means, but will it be nice to have a guy on the bench that you can flip out there over the boards just to remind the Penguins you do have a physical element?
Yeah, well, I think they know that already, and I think Jared can add to that. And I don't think at this time of year it's about intimidation or anything like that. I think Jared brings a lot more than just his physical presence and his physical ability out on the ice, but there's a lot of character and leadership that you can always use at this time of the season. So getting him back in the locker room, getting him on the bench, where he's vocal and he can talk, those are all pluses.
How much have your guys been afraid to get in scrums in front of the net there to an extent just because of the rules in the league trying to crack down on a lot of that? And obviously you don't want to take a bad penalty in this series.
That's exactly it. You try to play smart. You want to play disciplined. We know that we can't take any unnecessary penalties, which is the extracurricular stuff that usually goes on in scrums around the net. And because you're worried about what the referees are going to call. And, so far I think they've been letting some stuff go. Which does lead to a little bit of those scrums, but again, that's playoff hockey too, and I think it's something about our sport that we all appreciate and like.
Your team has bounced back every time they've been challenged this year, and you're in your own building here tonight. You've seen the atmosphere in the first two home games. How much are you looking forward to that tonight and to your team doing what you've come to expect of them to do?
Looking forward to tonight. Yesterday was it was a beautiful day outside, so spend some time outside. And when you get outside, spend a lot of time talking to neighbors and people around our community. And it's amazing, how I think the city has really gone jacket crazy. And everybody's talking about it. You're seeing it everywhere. And we know what this building's going to be like tonight. We got to harness that energy and use it in a positive way. Again, it can't take you over the top. You got to stay disciplined. And again, you can't cross that line. But if we can use that, get that energy, and again, use it to for positive things. Again, it's gonna be an entertaining game.
Hey, Todd, I always wondered when these people in this great community run into a head coach in any one of these sports, they must have a bunch of tips or lineup changes or ways to play defense. Or you get a lot of those tips during this time of year?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say tips. Right now it's just it's truly an excitement. I think they're on board. These games have been great because they've been emotional roller coasters, and whether you've lost a game or whether you've won a game, and that's what you want your fans to feel is kind of the grind that we go through, the emotion that we go through here, and once you've achieved that, and you hear people talking about how tough the loss was and how great it was after the game, and people were yelling and screaming and dancing. That's what you want, and once you do that, again, more people get involved, and then it takes on a life of its own somewhat.
So you're not like Reg Dunlop sitting down at the Aces with guys telling you got to work on that power play.
I don't. If there's an Aces in town, I should try to find it.
Todd, thank you so much for taking the time for us once again. Good luck tonight.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Todd.